What's going on, guys? Today, you are in the Matrix. Yes, we are in black and white because I felt like it. And we got a fragrance from the house of Estee Lauder. I know I'm not pronouncing it the way it should be, but it is what it is. Strap up.
Okay, feeling for two. I watch that head move side to side as I let this in into the room. You are on top, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right. Welcome to the scent bubble. I am your host for the afternoon. What's going on, guys? From the house of Estee Lauder, we are going to be looking at knowing eau de parfum for women. Now, I got to tell you something. In my investigation so far of vintage perfumery, I have been quite impressed at the versatility that has been brought in both the male and female fragrance lines. You're not just getting a very limited view of femininity, which I feel, as of the making of this video, it is the year 2025. I know right now it may look as if we're in the, 2050, but there is just more going on with women's scents. Some women's scents lean masculine. Some of them are just different and unique. Some are abstract. Some are more angelic. There's just more things to choose from. I feel like everything from about the 70s to the early 2000s, you have more of an exploration of different expressions and applications for the women's experience as it relates to perfume. Men's seemed a lot more singular, aggressive, professional, rugged, fresh. Seems like the men's stuff today, at least in the niche market, is going more exploratory, but nonetheless, let's check out this Estee Lauder fragrance for women, because sometimes I've been surprised to notice that I would rock them as a man. But initial sprays, hit the skin, hit the strip. Again, this is the eau de parfum concentration. This fragrance was dropped in 1988, a year before I was born. And it received a 4.02 out of 5 with 5,000 votes on Fragrantica. That is very substantial, as something you should absolutely get your nose on if you're interested in vintage or discontinued perfumery. I think this is still readily available. It is. But this would be considered somewhat vintage because it's over 30 years old. So, and it's a very good scent. It seems like earthy, aldehydic, powdery sweetness. Earthy, aldehydic, airy, powdery sweetness. There we go. It's got a hint of cosmetic face oilness, almost like a proactive or some type of face oil or cream. It's aldehydic. It is sweet, it's woody, it's powdery, it's more airy and cool rather than warm, but I think maybe on skin it dries down to something maybe more warm, spicy. It does. Changes quite a bit on skin right off the bat. Let's go ahead and look at some of our information here. And of course, vintage perfumery has 1,000 notes in it. We're not going to go through all of this, but some notable, interesting ones would be, there's the aldehydes, plum, melon, orris root, bay leaf, a lot of florals and greens, base of oak moss, patchouli, civet, vetiver, spices, sandalwood, orris root, amber, and musk. For those of you who don't know what like castoreum or musk or civet would do, or ambergris, a lot of times with a fragrance, it creates a certain level of complexity or depth. Sometimes the depth is mysterious. Sometimes it's earthy. Sometimes there's a funk to it. they can do a lot of different things. You know, civet doesn't always smell the same way every single time, especially due to the fact that some people just do trace amounts. Some people go more heavy-handed. The vintage perfumery tends to be a little more heavy-handed with notes that aren't allowed to be in fragrance today. And a lot of the notes you may see today in fragrance are, in fact, accords that are synthetically created, meaning they're phantom accords. They're what people try to create from other materials, not the actual source material. I think this is interesting. This is upscale. This is mature. I think for the mature category for women, this sits more in the traditional femininity of being a strong woman. It's strong. There's strength in it. It's there as an eau de parfum concentration. It would be in the air. This is a confident woman. This is both professional and powerful. Professional and confident is the vibes I get from this. It could be a casual scent for a woman, but I think it's the woman who's still dressed up even in her casualness. Let's see what they're saying this reminds people of. Seems to be moderate to long-lasting longevity. I would guess you'd get easily above 7 hours with this. Is this Montana? Okay. Interesting. So it's not similar to anything you guys are familiar with, but high votes. The blend is very smooth. Let me just go through some usual suspects and we'll sign off here. This is less about weather to me and more about circumstance. This is professional work environment, secretary wear. I think it's 30 and up for women. If you're a 25 to 30-year-old woman, this is an ambitious woman. Again, I get professionalism. I get confidence. It's a robust, airy scent. Again, slightly woody, slightly sweet, slightly powdery, very aldehydic, very cosmetic in nature. It seems like it is almost unisex. It's a feminine leaning unisex feel. It swings decisively feminine, but I think for a feminine scent, you know, it's not girly, it's not juvenile. It's a very robust, complex scent that typically you would find these type of characteristics in a masculine scent, but I think that's just due to the aldehydes and the civet and the oak moss. I do get it does in some ways have a soapy aldehydic nature to it. Soapy aldehydic cosmetic nature with kind of an undertone of powdery, woody, light sweetness, 2-3 out of 10 sweet, maybe 3. It's an elegant scent. I would call this elegant aldehydic vintage. Upscale casual work environment. Maybe if an older lady was going on a daytime date, but this is just a scent that a woman would wear if she wants to feel confident, taken seriously, ambitious, on a mission, mature. I love for the mature scents to have airiness and breath to them so they don't feel too heavy. They're easy to wear. You know, a woman could put this on 2 to 4 sprays and it'll just go the distance for you. I think as a scent, I give it a strong 8 for women. You know, it's not anything super signature. It's not anything that's speaking and projecting itself out into the world. It has a strong scent bubble, maybe 3-4 feet, but it's not a traveler. It is just an aura fragrance. Strong 8 out of 10 for me. Alternatives, I really don't know of any. We're just getting cracking in the vintage. Again, I have over 150 vintage scents, both men and women, in my collection at this point, but we're just now starting to crack into them. But this definitely does feel like it has some similarities to a lot of the feminine scents that I have, but this is just very well blended. It's a masterclass in blending. Estee Lauder is either a super hit or a super miss. This is a hit for sure. Ladies, if you're a younger woman that doesn't want to feel, I want to emphasize the fact that even though this is confident and robust for a woman and aldehydic, there is a slight sense of old history to it. It does feel like a beautiful vintage fragrance, but I think the word vintage comes into my mind when I smell this. Like I wouldn't smell this today and think this was made recently, but it also doesn't smell old. It is a historic gem. I think it's fall winter leaning. You want a breeze with a fragrance like this because it can be quite heavy. And yeah, if you want to get this fragrance today, because it comes from a reputable house that is still in rotation, you can go to Joma, Fragrance Net, Fragrance X, Max Aroma, and they all seem to be selling this fragrance in the 2.5 ounce arena for $40. So that's a good price. I think it's definitely, if you're into that, my older ladies, if you want some vintage classics, this is very fairly priced and it will last forever for you. So with that being said, this is Estée Lauder's Knowing, the Eau de Parfum for women. Give it a strong 8 out of 10. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. Let me know if you've tried this fragrance, if there's any like it that you think are better. I'm really introducing these women's fragrances. They can be helpful for men in maybe what to shop for your lady, your girlfriend, your wife, etc., your partner. But also just to look out for my ladies who are interested in seeing a male's perspective on women's scents. And my women audience is growing on the channel, so I want to look out for you guys. We've got a ton of classic feminine fragrances that, new and old, I want to encourage you guys to get your nose on. So, you have any questions? Talk to me in the comment section. I do talk back, and I'm going to post some videos right here for you guys to check out. If you liked this video, here are some videos like it that I think you'd be interested in. And until next time, hope you guys stay blessed. Peace.